And I just hit that blue button, so we are live.
We're live right now?
Yeah.
On the color television? Oh no, what am I gonna do? What's going on, everybody? Good to see you. It's been a few days. Beaver had some personal issues yesterday to work through. He's back today.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Dehydration.
All is good. All is good. Really didn't miss anything yesterday, though. In all seriousness, nothing crazy. I think VIP was just barely over positive with New Mexico not covering. But my favorite play of the day was that South Alabama New Mexico moneyline parlay, which hit. So some people were happy about that. Tomorrow or today is a new day. So let's get talking about it. This first game is probably my favorite game on the board. Don't really like the line movement or where the money's at, but it is what it is right now. Memphis, Alabama. Look, I was all over Memphis. As soon as I saw these two teams were going to be playing, I knew I was going to be on Memphis, especially after what we've seen from Alabama. And you're probably going to say, well, Ryan, we just saw Alabama destroy North Carolina and destroy Houston. North Carolina's not good. Michigan State's not that good either. Fantastic win against Houston for Alabama. There's no question about that. The thing with that Houston game that can be scary if you don't like Alabama or if you're betting against Alabama in certain situations is if you watch this team play last year, you're going to see, you'll know how good Javon Quinterly can be. Quinterly didn't play in fourth quarter. The second half of that game, I don't know when he went out, but I'm pretty sure it was at least the last 10 minutes of the game. That was like no Quinterly on there. Jaden Bradley was playing the point. And then you had, Noah Clowney, all these couple freshmen in there. Bediako's a sophomore. They have this kid named Nick Pringle, who's really coming into his own. That I expect him to have a pretty decent game today after he had a pretty bad game his last time out against Houston. But I, again, don't really love the spot for Alabama after a huge win against Houston. That's a very big win against Houston. Now they come to play this Memphis team that has a little bit of a chip on their shoulder with Gonzaga on deck. Alabama has Gonzaga on deck after Memphis. I really, really like this Memphis team. I think that whole adage of Penny Hardaway not being a great coach, again, I'm not trying to say that he's some great coach, but what he's done this year with the team that he's had and the recruiting job that he's done is pretty impressive. Coming off a very good Auburn win where I didn't have a side in that game because I really wanted to see what would happen. And Memphis pretty much dominated that game. There wasn't a point in that game. Auburn against that Auburn team that's pretty damn good, 18th in the country. There was really no point in that game where I didn't think that Memphis was going to win. They're extremely experienced too, the 12th most experienced team in the country, and they've tested themselves. They're number 40th in the country as far as strength of schedule. Playing teams like Auburn, Mississippi, Stanford, Nebraska, Seton Hall, St. Louis, Vanderbilt. All those teams are KenPom top 100 teams. Alabama, on the other hand, has played a decent schedule too. They're number 20 as well. They've got teams like North Carolina, UConn, Michigan State, Liberty, who's a decent team that should be cracking the KenPom top 100 here in the next week or so. They're at 101 right now. Houston's number 2. So lots of good things to think are with both teams, but I just think that 7.5 is too many. It's a little bit public now, but I'm already all in on this. I already have a full unit and a half on this play. Personally, I gave it out to the clients as a full unit. I think that Kendrick Davis and DeAndre Williams are going to go off tonight. I also played Kendrick Davis over 17.5 points at -110. I don't know where it's at now, but if it's anywhere around there, that might be on it probably won't be on the VIP because I don't really do props on there, but that will be on there. That will be one of the plays that I'm making personally as well. I think these guys go off. Again, this isn't a bet against Alabama. I just think that this is one of Memphis's most important games that they're going to have all season. I understand that they just got done playing Auburn and whatnot, but Alabama's actually kind of like this up-and-coming team right now that I think a lot of teams are going to want to knock off. really quickly getting into the nooks and crannies of this, Alabama shoots the three ball pretty damn well. They're 126 in the country at 34%. Memphis defends it pretty well as well. The one thing that I do love about these two teams is the turnovers. Memphis doesn't really turn the ball over a ton. They're 208 in turnover percentage, but that doesn't really matter considering that Alabama's number 317 in taking it away. On the flip side of that, the Alabama offense turns it over at a pretty high rate at 295, but the Memphis defense does a good job of taking the ball away. They're number 63 in turnover percentage as far as KenPom. So I think that this is a defensive battle, more ways than one. You got the Memphis defense at number 20th in KenPom, Alabama at number 12 in KenPom. The Alabama defense, I will say, they're holding their opponent's effective field goal percentage to right around 40%. That's top 10 in the country, top 7 if you want to get down to the nitty gritty. But again, just don't love the spot for Alabama. I just think that it's way too many points against a Memphis team that's probably going to be pretty damn up for this game, going to be feeling pretty good. They do have Texas A&M on deck, but I don't feel like that's any type of game like Gonzaga is for Alabama. I just think that 7.5 is absolutely way too many. I'm all over Memphis here today. Princeton. Iona. This one was actually kind of hard because Princeton isn't as bad as some might think. And then if you guys don't know who Iona is coached by Mr. Rick Pitino, and they are just absolutely killing teams right now. They do have 2 losses on the year, which was one of them was to Santa Clara. One of them was their first road game to Hofstra. Again, you don't get a pass on that one, but at the same time, it is what it is with these lower level schools. The Princeton defense, I will say, isn't anything to write home about. They're in the 130s or whatever, but they do a very good job of rebounding. And that's the one thing that I would a little bit worried about as far as the Iona side, but I am on Iona here, minus the 6.5. It's not a VIP play, but if I had to pick a side, it would be them. They're just very, very good, especially at home in New Jersey. I guess it's actually technically a neutral. So, but again, I just think that Princeton is going to want to be shooting the ball like they always do. They have that Princeton offense. But listen, guys, Rick Pitino has been around for a long time. He knows how to prepare these guys for this. Iona does not turn the ball over in any way, shape, or form. 11th in the country in turnover percentage. That Princeton defense that can rebound, they can't take the ball over. They're 340th in the country in taking the ball away. So again, I think that if Iona can take care of the ball, they should be all right to cover this number. Again, not a big play for me. I would try to find more like Iona and maybe 1 or 2 other teams in that 4 to 6.5 range, and to maybe take them on the money line. That's one thing that I can do. A lot of people I haven't seen do it in college basketball that I like to do is that anywhere from 4.5 to 6.5 range, like I did last night with South Alabama and New Mexico. If you can get that parlay, that 2-team money line parlay, anywhere between minus 110 and minus 125 at a max. I don't hate that. It's just when you start getting into the super juicy 2-team parlays that you just kind of got to stay away from. That you got to worry about. AJ, I keep on reading your damn comments.
Yeah, bro, because I'm not capping. If you don't sweep, I'm gone. I'm done producing.
All right, I got you. I appreciate you, Beaver. Always keeping me on my heels. Furman, North Carolina State. This is the hardest game for me on the board, guys. A lot of people that I respect are giving Furman some love, and first of all, they should. Furman has played some pretty damn good basketball to start the year. 2 losses on neutral to Penn State, Old Dominion. Those were on back-to-back days. Again, I'm not making excuses for college guys and stuff like that, but sometimes it just happens. Sometimes college teams, for whatever the reason may be, They just don't play good for certain weekends and stuff. And then they can come back the next week and look like a completely different team. That's what Furman did. Like I said, they lost to Old Dominion and Penn State. They came back. They beat South Carolina State, Appalachian State, Winthrop. Again, none of those teams are fantastic teams. But Furman is number 83 in KenPom. NC State, number 56. And if you watch NC State, there's three guys that you obviously – two guys that I really think they're the most important. Traquavion Smith, Jarkel Joyner. Traquavion Smith is an NBA talent. He's just a little bit skinny. They set him back to get a little work on his game and get a little bit bigger, but do not get it twisted. That dude is an absolute killer. This one's hard. I would go with NC State here. I just don't love the NC State defense. Sometimes they're number 74 in KenPom. So if somebody says that and says, well, Toast, they're pretty decent, I don't understand why you take a shot at the NC State defense. They just have lapses. The games against Pittsburgh, the games against Miami, where they should not be losing again against Miami. They were up almost the whole game. I don't even remember what we had them. I think it was like 4.5, 5.5. I think it was four. Winning the whole game. And again, Miami is a decent team, number 43 in KenPom. But again, they go on like an 18-6 run or something like that to end the game. They don't cover. That's just really hard. I think more or less, I would assume that I haven't looked up the number, but I would assume NC State first half would probably be my favorite play in this game. That's what I was looking at last night. Now that I'm reading at my notes more and more, but NC State first half 7. I know it's 6.5, but to win by 7 is a lot against a Furman team. That's pretty decent. We can tell you really quickly that the shot quality model had it at like 5.5 or 6 or something like that. There was a small lean on Furman, but nothing crazy. So, my favorite would be definitely NC State first half minus the 3.5. Appreciate that, Beaver. Marshall. Yo, is Marshall good? Like, can somebody help me out? Is Marshall good here? Like, I know that nobody's going to answer that question right now, but I want to know. I want to know because the way that they play, I mean, if they play the way that they've been playing, they could win this game by 10 or 15 points. If you haven't heard about Marshall yet, they're pretty good. They lost their first game to a Queens team that was 190 in KenPom. They lost their first game on the road. Ever since then, they've just been rattling off win after win after win. Their first 5 wins, nothing super impressive. But their last 4, again, these guys are like mid-major teams, but they're pretty impressive. At home against Akron, at home against Ohio, on the road against Duquesne, which is a pretty that's not an easy thing to do, and they stomped Duquesne, especially at the end of the game. And then on the road at Robert Morris, another 9-point victory for Marshall. So I don't know how you fade Marshall right now until they give you a reason. That being said, this line opened maybe 4, at least 3.5, and it's come all the way down to 2.5. So UNC Greensboro been decent. They're one of the older teams in the country. I think they're top 60, maybe 55 in the country. They are coming off a loss to Arkansas, but they also have lost 4 of their last 5. So there's this I guess I can understand because I did watch a lot of that Arkansas game. I think it was on ESPN, but they played Arkansas extremely well. They probably actually should have won that game. They were winning for parts of that game. They would take the lead and whatnot. Again, I think they were actually winning at the half too. But either way, so I could understand like the public, I guess, getting behind UNC Greensboro here, but I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Their offense is horrible. And that's the thing is that like Marshall has a very good offense, but they have a decent defense. Their defense is 90th in KenPom. So you have a UNCG offense that's 89 and a UNC defense that's 272 against a Marshall offense that's 9. Both of those offense and defense for Marshall are 90. Marshall's the number 1 team in the country in block percentage too. The only thing that Marshall can't do is shoot free throws well at 63%, which is freaking god-awful. But they're one of the most experienced teams in the country. They're top 10 in experience, too. They're top 50 in height. Whereas UNC is, 250, 251 in height. I just don't see it with UNCG. I just don't see it. I'm on Marshall here. Give me Marshall minus the 2.5. And let's go Thundering Herd. If they lose, it is what it is, but I'll definitely take that. Next game, UMass Lowell. Excuse me, and Rhode Island. Easy money, UMass Lowell. This team is actually playing pretty damn good right now. What are they, like 8-9-1 on the year? A lot of the teams that they play, you're not going to know. But I can tell you right now, they just had a game against on Tuesday or Wednesday last week against or Thursday. Sorry, it was Thursday against UMass, a team that was 119 in Ken Palm, and they looked fantastic against them. 85-80 victory on the road. And then again, they just beat St. Francis as 11-0. I just think that UMass Lowell is actually a little bit underrated right now. And the fact that I can fade Rhode Island, Rhode Island's horrible. I just don't like what they do. I think that Archie Miller is kind of probably getting his got that job a little bit out of his name. I don't know, but whatever he's doing isn't working over in Rhode Island. And like I said, I just think that UMass Lowell is a wagon right now. So I'm all over UMass Lowell minus the 1.5. Really couple of things about UMass Lowell that you're going to have to like. Effective field goal percentage, 55%. That's number on offense. That's good for 24th in the country. They shoot their 3-point percentage is at 38.3%. That's good for 37th in the country. They don't shoot free throws that well, but they're experienced. They don't give up that much height to Rhode Island. And then as far as the defense-wise, UMass Lowell, effective field goal percentage for opponents, 42.7%. That's good for 14th in the country. So they're even playing defense well. Again, all over UMass Lowell here. I don't understand this line either. So if it's a trap, so be it. I'll walk right into it. All over the Riverhawks today. I think that's it. Yep, that's it. It's a short slate today. Sometimes that happens, but it is what it is. VIPs will be out in a little bit, next couple hours. Shout out Stody Brook, that's for sure. Big win last night for those guys. Huge win. I will be back same time, same place. Actually, tomorrow is Thursday, so we're going to be a half hour. Or tomorrow's Wednesday, damn it. So on Thursday, we're going to do it a half hour early. I'll talk to you guys about that tomorrow. But tomorrow or on Thursday, it'll be 7:30 or 11:30 in the morning instead of noon. So appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you guys later.
Peace, Chiefs. Alrighty.